Jordan owned the air, Curry conquered distance, and then came a player who ruled the ground, Kyrie Irving. They called him the greatest ball handler in history. Some say it's hyperbole, others call it fact. But watch him for 10 seconds and the debate starts to feel irrelevant. The ball doesn't just follow Kyrie, it obeys him. Each dribble is a whisper, each crossover a sentence in a language only he can speak. He doesn't react to defenders, he conducts them. Their balance, their timing, their pride. He manipulates it all like a puppeteer with invisible strings. To call it handles feels too small. What Kyrie does is choreography, footwork, rhythm, geometry, a symphony of control. Allen Iverson once said he's the best ever. Analysts agree. But greatness isn't about what you can do with the ball, it's what the ball says about you. For Kyrie, every dribble tells a story of isolation, of imagination, of rebellion. The world tried to box him in, systems, coaches, narratives. He slipped through them all, just like a defender lunging at air. And while others sought power through dominance, Kyrie sought it through artistry. Because his genius wasn't about breaking ankles, it was about breaking patterns. This is the story of the game's most elusive artist, the one who turned a simple bounce into belief. Before the crossovers and the chaos, there was a kid from New Jersey, born in Melbourne, raised by a dream and a single father. Kyrie Andrew Irving didn't come from fame, he came from faith. His father Dietrich was a college legend at Boston University. His mother Elizabeth passed when Kyrie was just 4. The weight of that loss would never leave him. It would only be redirected. Basketball became the language between father and son. Every driveway dribble was a conversation. Every bounce, a heartbeat. And while most kids played for fun, Kyrie played for connection. To his father, to the game, to something higher. Then came Rod Strickland, his godfather, an NBA guard whose creativity shaped everything Kyrie would become. Strickland didn't teach him moves, he taught him movement, how to flow, not just play. There was another twist. Kyrie was born left-handed, but his father made him use his right. The result? A symmetry few players ever achieve. He didn't just dribble, he painted with both hands. By 4th grade, he was obsessed. Tapes, notebooks, late-night sessions, hours at the park. When most kids had posters on their walls, Kyrie had a promise. Scrawled across his closet door in Sharpie, "I will make it to the NBA." His father drove him every weekend from New Jersey to New York. Hours on buses and cold streets, just to play against older, stronger competition. Full court pressure, hand-checking, humiliation. He had 2 choices, quit or adapt. He chose to adapt. Every press hardened him. Every steal taught him control. By high school, the quiet kid from West Orange had become a phenomenon. Not because of his size, but because of his handle. Kyrie wasn't just learning how to dribble, he was learning how to survive. By the time Kyrie Irving reached Duke University, he wasn't just another recruit, he was a prophecy fulfilled. The kid who once scribbled dreams on a closet door was now under the brightest lights in college basketball. Coached by a legend, Mike Krzyzewski. At Duke, everything slowed down. For everyone except Kyrie. His first games were electric. He wasn't running plays, he was rewriting them. Every dribble felt improvised, every finish a masterpiece. Scouts whispered, "#1 pick." Commentators said, "He's next." But then, fate intervened. A freak toe injury. One misstep, and the season was gone. 9 games in, just as quickly as he arrived, he vanished. Critics called him overrated, too fragile, too fancy. They said his handle wouldn't work against pros. For most players, that would have been the end of the story. For Kyrie, it was just another trial. Because what they didn't understand was that pain was already part of his process. Loss had built his foundation. Doubt had sharpened his edge. And so, when the Cleveland Cavaliers, a franchise abandoned by LeBron James, took a chance on him as the #1 pick in 2011, Kyrie didn't blink. He wasn't there to replace a king. He was there to prove that artistry could rebuild a kingdom. The league had power, speed, dominance, but it had never seen anything like this. The magician was about to enter the biggest stage of all. Cleveland had seen talent before, but not like this. From his very first season, Kyrie Irving looked different. He didn't just dribble past defenders, he dismantled them. Every crossover was a riddle, every layup a sermon. He hit game winners against Boston, danced through double teams in Denver, averaged nearly 19 points per game as a rookie, and walked away with Rookie of the Year. But beneath the highlights, something was missing. Kyrie had talent, but not yet discipline. That's when assistant coach Phil Handy saw the truth. His young star wasn't training like a master. He was just playing. So Handy made a call to the only man who could speak Kyrie's language, Kobe Bryant. Kobe didn't lecture, he challenged. He told Kyrie, "Don't chase moves, chase mastery." And in that moment, something changed. From that day forward, Kyrie attacked the game like a scientist. Hours of film, hundreds of reps, thousands of failures. The handles got sharper, the footwork cleaner, the mindset colder. Kyrie had absorbed the Mamba code, control the controllable, destroy the doubt. Then came March 12, 2015, Spurs versus Cavs. The night Kyrie dropped 57 points, spinning, slicing, hitting impossible shots like he was powered by something divine. LeBron called it the greatest performance he'd ever witnessed live. That was the night the student became the weapon. Not Kobe's clone, but his evolution. A guard who combined art with instinct, patience with chaos. Kyrie wasn't chasing legends anymore. He was becoming one. By 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers weren't just playing for a title, they were playing for redemption. LeBron James had returned home. Kyrie Irving was battle-tested, scarred, and now fully realized. But standing in their way was a basketball machine, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. The greatest regular season team in NBA history. And for 3 straight games, it looked like destiny was written in blue and gold. Down 3-1, the Cavaliers were finished. At least that's what the world thought. But Kyrie had never listened to the world. Game 5, Oracle Arena. Kyrie and LeBron erupted for 41 points each, a two-man storm that stunned the Warriors. The series wasn't over. Game 6, Cleveland. Kyrie, calm as a monk, fierce as a god. 23 points, surgical precision, the kind of game that bends time. And then, the night that would change everything. Game 7, final minutes, 89-89. The air so heavy you could feel hearts breaking before the buzzer. LeBron's chase-down block, the immortal moment that saved Cleveland's dream. But it was Kyrie who finished it. Curry switched onto him. The floor cleared. Kyrie dribbled, left, right, back, step. That soft rhythm he practiced since childhood echoed through the arena. And then, silence. Fadeaway 3 over the reigning MVP. Splash. That was the shot, the one that froze history, the one that silenced 73 wins, the one that gave Cleveland its first championship in 52 years. As confetti fell, Kyrie didn't scream. He just smiled, a quiet smile, the kind that knows how far pain can take you. In that moment, he was no longer the apprentice. He was the artist who painted his masterpiece on the biggest canvas the sport could offer. The world called it the shot, but to Kyrie, it was something simpler. The sound of destiny finally hitting the net. After the confetti faded, Kyrie Irving faced a new question. What comes after the mountaintop? He'd hit the shot, won the ring, fulfilled the prophecy. But inside, something stirred. He didn't just want to be remembered for a moment, he wanted to build his own kingdom. So, in 2017, Kyrie asked for a trade. Fans called him ungrateful. Analysts said he was reckless. But deep down, Kyrie wasn't running from LeBron, he was chasing independence. Boston welcomed him as their new savior. He promised to stay, the fans believed, the city embraced him. And for a while, it worked. The Celtics were winning, the handles were hypnotic. The streaks, the energy, Boston was buzzing. Then the injuries came. First his knee, then the locker room. Frustration, pressure, expectations. Everything fractured. When the playoffs hit, Kyrie was out. Boston's young guns carried the torch. By the time he returned, the love had turned to doubt. He wasn't the hero anymore. He was the headline. Then came Brooklyn. A new start, a new brotherhood with Kevin Durant and James Harden. The most gifted trio of their generation. On paper. On the court, injuries, politics, and chaos. One of the most beautiful basketball experiments ever that never became what it could have been. And through it all, Kyrie refused to bend. The media called him defiant. The league called him difficult. But he wasn't chasing validation. He was protecting his freedom. Every controversy, every suspension, every headline, they missed the truth. Kyrie wasn't lost. He was searching for peace, for meaning, for a world where he could dribble, not just a ball, but his beliefs. Because for him, the game was never about control, it was always about truth. When the storm finally cleared, Kyrie Irving found himself in Dallas, older, calmer, and misunderstood no more. To most, it looked like another desperate move, but to Kyrie, it was rebirth. He didn't walk in demanding to lead, he came to build. And alongside Luka Doncic, something rare happened. Two artists, one brush. Their chemistry wasn't forced, it was fluent. Every pass, every read, every rhythm, a dialogue in motion. In the 2024 playoffs, Kyrie reminded the world that poetry still wins games. 30 points to close out the Clippers, 36 to bury Minnesota. And suddenly he was back on the grandest stage, the NBA Finals. This time against Boston, the city that once cursed his name. He dropped 35 in Game 3. He faced boos, jeers, ghosts, and smiled through it all. Because now he understood. Peace isn't applause, it's alignment. Dallas fell short, but Kyrie had already won something far greater. Clarity. He'd been the prodigy, the champion, the villain. Now he was simply the man. The same hands that once broke ankles were now building legacies. Not just for him, but for those coming after him. Time has a way of humbling even the brightest stars, and yet some don't dim, they transform. Kyrie Irving had reached that stage of his life where the game had slowed, but his mind has never been sharper. The handle still hypnotizes, but the meaning behind it has changed. What was once rebellion is now wisdom. What was once chaos has become clarity. He's no longer the kid trying to prove he belongs. He's the teacher, the storyteller, guiding a generation raised on his highlights. Every young guard who dances with the ball is chasing a ghost he created. And maybe that was always the point. Not to be loved, not even to be understood, but to leave fingerprints on the fabric of the game. Traces of artistry that no system could erase. The media framed him as complicated, but maybe he was just honest. Maybe greatness doesn't fit into neat narratives or perfect PR. Maybe it looks like a man searching for peace in a sport built on pressure. Because through every controversy, every injury, every misunderstanding, Kyrie never stopped creating. And creation, in its purest form, is freedom. Someday, when the noise fades and the debates end, people will look back and realize he wasn't just a ball handler. He was a philosopher dribbling through doubt, a poet using the court as his page. And every bounce was a reminder that beauty still lives here.